You stand at the doorway of your own greatness, but that doorway will not open unless you reach for the handle and turn it yourself. The most dangerous word in any language is not fear, nor is it failure. The most dangerous word is tomorrow, because tomorrow is where dreams go to die. Tomorrow is where action is delayed, where plans are postponed, where passion grows cold, and yet most people, you included, have likely placed more hope in tomorrow than they have invested in today. But let me tell you the truth, there is no tomorrow. There is only now. What is stopping you? Is it doubt? Is it fear? Is it the haunting whisper that says, "You're not ready yet"? Those are lies sold by the lazy mind to keep you comfortable. The mind craves certainty and safety, but greatness is never born in comfort. Greatness is forged in motion. You do not need more time. You do not need more resources. You do not need permission. You need only a decision to begin, a decision to no longer let your potential rot in the prison of procrastination. A decision to walk through the fire of your excuses and emerge on the other side as someone reborn. You think the perfect moment will come. It won't. The perfect time is a myth created by those who never dared. The world has always belonged to those who began before they were ready. Think about it. How many ideas have you had? How many plans have you made? How many mornings have you awakened with conviction, only to see it drowned by the evening with nothing done? That's not life, that's existence, and you were not born to exist. You were born to create, build, impact. You were born to use the breath in your lungs to stir the winds of change, to use your hands to mold your vision into something real. You see, you have power, tremendous power, but it only reveals itself when you move. There's a secret that the successful understand. Action breeds clarity. You do not have to know every step. You do not have to see the finish line. You only need to take the next step in faith. As you do, the road will unfold beneath your feet. Success is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about waking up each day and saying, "I will not let this day pass without moving closer to what I desire." That one declaration, when followed by action, is more powerful than any vision board, any seminar, any plan. Start now, not after lunch, not tonight, not tomorrow. Start with one task. Start with 5 minutes. Start by refusing to negotiate with that voice that says, "Maybe later." And understand this, discipline is your truest friend. Emotion is fleeting. Motivation will come and go, but discipline, when cultivated, becomes the iron backbone of your success. And discipline begins not with grand declarations, but with a single decision made and kept. If you start today, you are no longer who you were yesterday. You are someone new, someone who has chosen power over pity, purpose over hesitation, progress over perfection. You are a force now, a soul on fire, and once a man or woman truly begins, truly commits, the universe begins to shift in response. Doors will open, opportunities will appear, people will notice the fire in your eyes. And the beauty is, it all begins the moment you stop waiting. You already know what to do. Now do it, today. There is a subtle thief that robs men of their dreams, not with violence, not with chaos, but with softness, with a false promise. That thief is the word tomorrow. It sounds innocent, even hopeful. It whispers, not now, but later. And that one whisper has destroyed more ambition, wasted more time, and buried more potential than all the failures and rejections in the world combined. You tell yourself that you'll start the business tomorrow, you'll begin your fitness journey tomorrow, you'll repair that broken relationship, write that book, chase that dream tomorrow, and while your heart beats with conviction, your hands remain still. You find comfort in the idea that the future will be more perfect than the present. But I say this to you now, not to soothe, but to awaken. Tomorrow is a lie. Tomorrow is the graveyard where your dreams are buried alive. It is the arena where the battle is never fought. You cannot win a war you refuse to enter, and you cannot achieve a life of greatness by standing still. The clock does not care about your potential. It ticks whether you act or delay. The man who says, "I will begin when I am ready," is the same man who will one day whisper, "It's too late." Your life, your destiny, is shaped not by grand intentions, but by small beginnings made in the present moment. The only thing real is now. You are breathing now. You are thinking now. You are able now. If you are waiting for some perfect alignment of stars before you act, you will wait for all eternity. The stars are already aligned the moment you decide that they are. Do not be deceived by the comfort of delay. Procrastination is not passive. It is a poison. It seeps slowly into the soul and convinces you that waiting is wisdom, but waiting without action is not wisdom. It is hesitation wrapped in the clothing of reason. It is fear disguised as patience. Look at any man or woman who has achieved anything worthwhile, and you will find a soul who acted before they felt ready. They stepped forward into darkness and trusted that the light would appear. They did not ask the world for guarantees. They built certainty within themselves. The truth is, there will never be a perfect time. Life will always have distractions. There will always be bills to pay, responsibilities to handle, and fears to confront. If you cannot begin now, then what makes you believe you will begin later, when those conditions grow even more complex? Greatness is not forged in ease. It is born in defiance of hesitation. It is summoned through bold action, not silent wishing. And so I tell you, stop waiting, stop hoping, start moving. The difference between a man who lives his dream and the man who dies with regret is not talent. It is not intelligence. It is urgency. One made a decision to act today. The other postponed his life until it was too late. Let this be the moment where you reclaim your power. There is nothing more dangerous than a man who decides to begin. Not because he is fearless, but because he acts despite fear. Not because he knows the entire road, but because he takes the first step with faith in his feet. Today is not just another square on the calendar. It is your opportunity. It is your test. It is your gift. If you let it pass unused, it will not return. The sun will set and the day will end, whether you acted or not, and you will be left with the same dreams, the same plans, and the same whisper of maybe tomorrow. But if you act, if you take one small, meaningful step, you create momentum. That single motion breaks the chain of hesitation and ignites the fire of progress. You begin to believe in your ability, not because someone told you so, but because you proved it to yourself. This is the truth. You will never feel fully ready, but you do not need readiness. You need resolve. Resolve to start, to move, to refuse to be ruled by comfort or fear. The man who acts today owns his future. The man who delays becomes a prisoner of it. So ask yourself now, in this very moment, not tonight, not tomorrow, what can you do today that your future self will thank you for, and then do it. Far too many men wander through life waiting for some divine signal, some perfect arrangement of time, money, or knowledge to begin their journey toward success. They say to themselves, "If only I had more time," or "when I have enough money, I'll start," or "once I learn everything I need, I'll take the leap." But let me tell you a truth that is so simple, yet so profound, that it can alter the entire course of your life. You do not need more of anything, except a decision. Everything you think you lack is a distraction from the one thing you truly need, the power to decide. That decision is the ignition key to your potential. Without it, even the finest car cannot move. With it, even a rusty engine can roar to life. You see, a man can possess all the tools and still build nothing. He can have wealth, intelligence, connections, and opportunity, and yet achieve nothing of value, because he never committed to act. He never decided. On the other hand, history is filled with men who had nothing but a burning desire and an unbreakable decision, and they moved mountains. Decision is the starting point of all achievement. Not a wish, not a vague hope, not a half-hearted intention, a decision, one that is so definite, so deliberate, that all the forces of the universe begin to align to support it. But here is the catch. Most people think they've decided when in reality they are only entertaining an idea. To entertain an idea is to sit with it, to play with it, to imagine how nice it would be if it worked. But to decide is to cut off all other options and march forward with unrelenting conviction. Think of the word decide itself. Its root is the same as homicide or suicide. It means to cut off. When you truly decide, you eliminate the possibility of turning back. You sever your ties to the shore and set your sails to the unknown. That's where growth lies. That's where your power is forged. You do not need to wait for all the answers. You do not need the approval of others. You do not need perfect timing. You need only to say, I will, and then follow it with action. Greatness does not favor the most prepared. It favors the most committed. It rewards the man who takes imperfect action over the one who waits for perfection. The man who steps forward in faith will always outdistance the man who stands still in fear. So, what is stopping you? Fear of failure. Understand this. Failure is not the enemy. Indecision is. Failure is but a stepping stone, a lesson in disguise. Indecision, however, is a slow death. It keeps you in the same place while time marches on, indifferent to your hesitation. And time, my friend, is not patient. Every day you delay, the cost compounds. Every idea you postpone grows weaker. Every dream you defer becomes harder to retrieve. Life does not wait for the man who waits. Life only yields to the man who decides. Think not of what you lack. Think instead of what you possess at this very moment, the ability to choose. You may not control all circumstances, but you control your response to them. You control the direction of your mind, and your mind is the workshop in which all success is first built. The man who chooses decisively sends a signal to the world, I am ready. And when the world sees that you are ready, it responds. Resources appear, people offer help, ideas become clearer, not because these things were missing before, but because your decision made them visible. The door to the life you want is not locked. It is waiting to be opened by the hand of decision. And that hand is yours. The moment you decide truly and completely, the world begins to shift. Do not underestimate what one bold decision can do. Empires have been born from it. Fortunes have been built on it. Lives have been transformed through it. And your own transformation waits on the other side of one firm, unwavering declaration, I will. So make that decision now, not tomorrow, not later, now. Declare your intent. Step into your future with boldness. Refuse to retreat. Refuse to hesitate. Your destiny does not require more time or more knowledge. It requires only that you decide. One of the greatest misunderstandings held by the average man is this, that he must wait until he is fully prepared before taking action. He believes he must gather every detail, study every angle, and eliminate every ounce of uncertainty before he begins. But the man who lives by this philosophy finds himself forever waiting, forever preparing, forever standing still, while life, with all its opportunities, marches right past him. You must understand a foundational truth of all achievement. You do not need to be ready. You need to begin, for readiness is not something you wait for. It is something you earn through action. The man who starts without full clarity and keeps walking forward discovers that the fog lifts with every step. But the man who stands still, demanding certainty before he moves, finds that the fog only thickens. The successful individual, he who builds, who conquers, who advances, is not the man with all the answers. He is the man with the courage to move forward without them. You may say, but I don't know enough. You may say, but what if I make a mistake? Let me tell you something. Knowledge, while useful, is never complete. Mistakes, while uncomfortable, are never final. It is not perfection that builds empires. It is persistence. It is the willingness to act, to adapt, to learn on the battlefield, not from the safety of the sidelines. Every master was once a beginner who stepped forward before he was ready. The seed of greatness is watered through movement, not contemplation. A vision, no matter how clear, remains powerless until it is put into motion. You are not meant to have it all figured out. You are meant to walk forward with faith and build the bridge as you go. Do not ask life for certainty. Ask it for the strength to take the next step, and then take it. That step might not be perfect, but it will be progress. A man who waits for the path to be fully lit will never leave the starting line, but a man who begins with just a candle in his hand, his courage will find that the fire grows brighter with every stride. That is the nature of action. It multiplies your strength, sharpens your vision, and draws the opportunities toward you. Let me tell you this clearly. Clarity comes through movement, not meditation. The idea that you must have all the information before acting is a lie told by fear. It is a trick of the mind designed to keep you safe, and broke safe, and unknown safe, and unfulfilled, and you were not put here to play it safe. You were put here to create, to influence, to lead. So if you find yourself hesitating, waiting until the time is right, remember this: the time is never right. Conditions will never be perfect. The road will never be free of obstacles. The winds will not always be at your back. But if you begin anyway, you will find a power rising within you that you never knew existed. It will not come before the step, it will come because of the step. Every success story you admire began not in mastery, but in motion. Every man who achieved greatness once sat where you sit now, wondering if he had what it took. But he did not let that question keep him still. He acted, and in doing so, he found his answer. Stop waiting to feel confident. Stop waiting for the plan to be perfect. Stop waiting to know how it will all work out. That's not your job. Your job is to start, to move, to do something, anything, and as you do, your confidence will grow, not because someone gave it to you, but because you earned it. And your plan will refine, not in thought, but in application, and your results will compound, not in the future, but in this very moment. With the small, courageous acts you dare to make today, you are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be to take the next step. So take it. Do not wait to be ready. Be willing, willing to begin without all the answers, willing to act while still uncertain, willing to trust that movement will bring momentum, and momentum will bring results. The first step may not be perfect, but it is always powerful, and it is yours to take. Now, there is a cruel trick that life plays on the undisciplined. It gives them moments of wild inspiration, flashes of motivation that feel like fire in the belly, but as quickly as that fire ignites, it dies. The man who builds his life on motivation will rise in the morning full of energy and determination, only to crumble by afternoon under the weight of his own inconsistency. He is like a rocket with no fueled tank. He lifts off with noise and speed, but crashes before reaching orbit. Now, let me tell you the truth that separates the successful from the wishful. Discipline is greater than motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It is a guest that comes and goes. It cannot be depended upon. But discipline is the silent, steady companion that never leaves you once earned. Most men wait to feel like working, feel like building, feel like creating. They wait for the emotional wind to blow in the right direction before they lift a finger. And when that wind does not come, they call it a bad day. But the man of discipline doesn't wait for the wind. He becomes the wind. Discipline is doing the work regardless of how you feel. Discipline is waking up before the sun because you made a promise to yourself. Discipline is keeping your word to yourself long after the mood you made that promise in has faded. That is the foundation of greatness. Do you know why most people fail? It is not because they lack vision, not because they lack ability. It is because they lack consistency, and consistency is the offspring of discipline. The man who does what needs to be done day in and day out, whether he feels like it or not, that man becomes unstoppable. You do not need to feel ready to begin. You do not need to feel inspired to act. You need only a commitment, a non-negotiable decision to show up and do the work, no matter what storm rages within or around you. Understand this: your emotions are not to be trusted with the direction of your life. They change with the weather, shift with fatigue, dance to the tune of circumstance, but discipline is a solid rock. It is not influenced by how you feel. It is a decision you made and continue to make. It is your anchor in a sea of chaos. You will not always want to get up early. You will not always want to do the hard thing. But you must do it anyway. That is how you rise above mediocrity. That is how you separate yourself from the masses who live by convenience and comfort. Let others be ruled by emotion. Let others fall asleep again when the alarm rings. Let others look for shortcuts and make excuses, but not you. You are different. You have chosen the narrow path. You have chosen mastery over ease, and here is the glorious reward. When discipline becomes your habit, you begin to trust yourself. Confidence is not born from comfort. It is born from keeping your promises to yourself. When you do what you said you would do, especially when it's hard, you build unshakable belief in your own power. You begin to say, if I say it, I do it. And that is how giants are built. That is how mountains are moved, not in moments of emotional thrill, but in thousands of small decisions made without applause or recognition. The grind, the repetition, the refusal to quit. The man who masters discipline becomes his own master. He is no longer a slave to mood, to circumstance, to the opinions of others. He commands his mind. He directs his actions, and in doing so, he shapes his destiny. So I say to you now, if you would build something that lasts, if you would rise above your past, above your excuses, above your own self-doubt, then stop waiting for the feeling to move you. Become the kind of person who moves regardless of feeling. Make discipline your identity. Build your days upon structure, intention, and commitment. And when the fire of motivation returns, it will find you already in motion, already focused, already growing. And that, my friend, is how greatness is carved, not in flashes of glory, but in the quiet power of a man who does the work every single day. It is a law of life, invisible yet unshakable, that small steps, taken with boldness and consistency, unlock doors that brute force and frantic effort never will. You have been taught to believe in massive leaps, in sudden breakthroughs, in grand moments of transformation. But the truth is that greatness does not arrive all at once. It comes quietly, humbly, almost invisibly, disguised as small actions taken daily, repeated faithfully. Every towering building was once a single brick. Every book was once a single sentence. Every fortune began as a single dollar, and every powerful man you admire today began his journey by doing something small, something so small that the world didn't even notice. But he noticed, and he kept doing it. Understand this: the man who wins is not the one who moves the fastest, it is the one who moves every day. Success is not an event, it is a process, and the process is powered by momentum. But momentum doesn't come from thinking or planning, it comes from doing. The tragedy is that most men never start because they are intimidated by the size of the vision. They look at the mountain they wish to climb and say, it's too far. They stare at the book they want to write and say, it's too many pages. They look at the weight they want to lose, the money they want to make, the business they want to build, and they get overwhelmed. But the man who understands the power of the first step knows that the mountain cannot be climbed in a day, but it can be climbed if you commit to taking one step again and again. He knows that a page written today becomes a chapter tomorrow and a book next year. He knows that $1 invested, compounded over time, builds a fortune. Your dream is not too big. Your dream is too still. You've been waiting for a massive explosion of change, but what you need is a daily spark of action. A phone call, a workout, a single chapter read, a conversation had, a plan written, these are not small things. They are the only things that matter. Let the others chase after shortcuts and overnight success. Let the undisciplined search for secret formulas and magic bullets, but you will understand the deeper truth that the man who wins is the man who can keep showing up long after the excitement has faded. The one who ties his shoes every morning and steps onto the battlefield, even if only for 5 minutes. The one who says, I will do something today that my future self will be grateful for, and then does it. Not perfectly, not grandly, but consistently. 5 minutes of focused work is more valuable than 5 hours of procrastination. One honest step forward, no matter how small, is greater than 1,000 unfulfilled intentions. The seed you plant today may not blossom tomorrow, but it will grow if you water it, and watering it means showing up again and again and again. Do not fall into the trap of waiting until you feel motivated. Do not let your mind tell you that one small action isn't worth it. Every great achievement was once a small act of courage. You do not need to take 10 steps, you need to take one. You do not need to have it all figured out. You need to begin. There is magic in beginning. There is power in motion. Once you start, your energy shifts, your belief grows, your mind sharpens, your standards rise. The man who once doubted himself begins to prove himself to himself. And here's the miracle: small steps compound. Like interest in a bank account, they multiply with time. 1 page becomes 10, 10 becomes 100, 1 workout becomes a habit. 1 decision becomes a lifestyle. Before you know it, you are not who you used to be. You are stronger, wiser, more disciplined, and you didn't get there overnight. You got there because you did the small thing every single day without fail. You can begin now, not when it's convenient, not when you feel ready. Now, ask yourself, what is one action I can take today that honors the life I want to build? Then do it, and tomorrow do it again. And again and again. That is how legacies are built, not through grand gestures but through humble persistence. That is how you become unstoppable, not by doing everything but by doing something and never quitting. Your future is waiting for you to move. Take the first step. There is a law woven into the very fabric of the universe, an unseen force that responds not to wishes, not to idle thoughts, not to silent intentions, but to movement. The moment you act with decision and faith, something begins to stir, not only within you but all around you. Life takes notice. Opportunities you never saw before begin to appear. People begin to respond. Circumstances shift. The very air around you seems to vibrate differently. This is not magic. It is not fantasy. It is the inevitable result of a mind set in motion with unwavering purpose. The world does not respond to your potential. It responds to your energy. It responds to your vibration. It responds to the certainty of your step, the conviction of your action. And yet, most men sit idle, hoping the universe will reward their thoughts without their effort. But the truth is this: the universe does not move until you do. A man can sit and dream for decades. He can visualize, plan, journal, and hope. But unless he moves, those dreams remain locked in the prison of his imagination. Action is the key that unlocks the gates of possibility. It is the only true expression of belief. When you begin, even if the beginning is small, you send out a signal. You declare, I am ready. And life echoes back, then let me show you the way. Doors that once seemed closed begin to open. The path that once looked dark begins to light up, not all at once, but step by step, as if life itself is testing your commitment. You must understand this. The man who waits for everything to line up before he acts will never move. The man who moves despite the unknowns invites providence to join him. He becomes magnetic. He becomes a force, and forces attract results. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how things begin to happen after you make a firm decision? The moment you commit to a goal and begin taking action, ideas appear, people show up, the right book falls into your hands, the right opportunity knocks. That's not coincidence, it's cause and effect. Action is a catalyst. It transforms invisible desires into tangible reality. You do not need to know how it will all unfold. You only need to begin. The road will not reveal itself to the man who stands still. It is carved beneath the feet of the one who dares to walk. But here lies the danger. The average man thinks the universe must respond first. He waits for motivation, for a sign, for someone to believe in him. What he does not realize is that the universe is waiting on him, waiting for him to step forward, waiting for him to declare what he wants with more than just words, with action. You do not need permission. You do not need more validation. What you need is the courage to trust that the world will adjust to the man who refuses to stop, the man who says, I will go forward and I will not turn back. That is when life moves to meet you. And the beauty of it is this: once you begin, momentum carries you. One action creates energy. That energy fuels the next step. Momentum builds, confidence grows, and before you know it, you are no longer hoping to succeed. You are expecting it. You begin to believe, not because someone told you to, but because your results prove it to you. You no longer need external motivation, because movement itself becomes your motivation. Progress becomes your addiction. Growth becomes your identity. There is no waiting. There is no delay. There is only now. You must move as if the world already belongs to you, because it does, the moment you decide it does, and take action to claim it. Every great transformation begins not with a plan, but with a step. One step, a phone call, a decision, a choice to rise when your body wants to sleep, a choice to speak when your fear says be silent, a choice to walk forward when the crowd stands still. You are not powerless. You are not waiting on fate. Fate is waiting on you, so move, not because you feel like it, not because it's easy, but because movement creates momentum, and momentum awakens the forces of life in your favor. You are one step away from a completely different destiny. Take it.